It seems to me that there, like in B2B content marketing, there's at least one basic kind of tension, and that's on the one hand to produce content at scale so that you're operating like a media company, right? And just putting stuff out, ideally every day, something new, something, keeping feeding the machine.
Yeah.
That's one impulse. On the other hand, and maybe this is kind of a more recent phenomenon, there's also a growing interest and maybe need for content that's unique and has a point of view and that stands out. Now, those two things seem to me to be somewhat in opposition. The more frequently you're producing stuff, the harder it is on average to create things that are unique and stand out. And it makes me wonder how the AI is going to play a role in all this, because stuff that's, if we're talking about content that's like authentic and only Jeff Hawes could have written that, that's so Jeff, right? Like having a tone of voice, that's something that a lot of people talk about is like very valuable. Publishing copy written by an AI would seem to be the antithesis of that in some important way, you know on but what if, though, you could train an AI, and I just assume you can, to write like Jeff Hawes. Like over time, if you feed it enough information and samples, it could probably eventually do a pretty good job of sounding like you. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
I think it complicates our whole notion of authenticity. I don't know, where do you fall in this?
It does, but that's somewhat where the currency you hope lies, is that if it's not just words, then it is that that personality or that credibility. That's where it's really going to matter, because a lot of that does come to voice matters, but credibility and that authenticity that you have there's a face there, there's a person, this person is telling you, I wrote this, you trust me, I have earned that over whatever amount of time. I've earned that through my podcast, I've earned that through the videos I've shown you, I've earned that through my previous writing, I've earned that through the email newsletter I've been sending you. Like, you know who I am, and I'm telling you, like, my name is
Yeah.
on it, my face is on it, I wrote this. And I think B2B companies have not been very quick to, over the years, in the way sometimes B2C have, of embracing kind of that personality, that individual. They all want to be about the brand, and we always
Yeah.
have kind of been. We want our brand to be front and center. We want our brand to be what is being trusted, and bring the credibility. But with this, you wonder if there's going to be more currency, more value in the individual, even at a B2B company, because that individual can stand up and say, I wrote this, I am giving you my personal perspective. This isn't coming from a chat bot. This is from my
Yeah.
experience over 20 years of doing this. I'm sharing with you what I think and how this can help you. And you wonder if that may be something that comes out in the future, where even B2B companies are either nurturing that kind of personality in house, and bring somebody to the front center to be kind of the face, or if they even go out and find someone who's already kind of established and bring them in under their umbrella. And you wonder, can you, as a B2B brand, can you kind of usurp someone's credibility without them losing it? Does it
Mhm.
make more sense to nurture it in house? Do we have to not just create the content, but to create the people who are creating that content?
Yeah. Or, take a look around and say, okay, well, what people do we have?
Yeah.
And how can we get them out there? Sort of not as spokespeople for the brand, but as individuals who work here, but
Yep.
are their own personality. Like, and I think on LinkedIn, there's a lot of chatter about this. And some of the more prominent LinkedIn influencers, for lack of a better word, talk about this. One guy in particular who comes to mind is a fellow named Steve Watt. He's been on this podcast, and we did a whole conversation just exactly about this. And his mantra for years now has been, LinkedIn has changed. It's people do not go on there to hear from the brand. In fact, those posts get very little engagement. They go on there to hear from people like Steve and other individuals who have something to say to everyone else. Not as a brand ambassador, but just as a person who's
Mhm.
interested in B2B marketing or sales or whatever. So I think that seems to be already happening on LinkedIn. And but it just, I guess it makes me wonder how, like, what role AI might even play in that, because I do that, I'm posting on LinkedIn pretty much every day, and I prepare a bunch of posts and all that, and it takes a lot of time and effort.
Mhm.
And I played around with Chat GPT, and I'm like, could this thing help me write those posts? Maybe.
Yeah.
Do I want to do that? I'm not sure, but it's
Right.
tempting. I gotta say, it's very tempting. It seems like it could save me a whole lot of time. But then I'm also like, but then does it defeat the whole purpose of being yourself on LinkedIn? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and some of it depends on what your goals are. Like,
Yeah.
do I need to write these posts in my voice, or am I just trying to kind of use LinkedIn as a platform to get myself in front of people and potentially to get recruited for jobs or for whatever? And I could tell, I think we could tell ChatGPT right now to, hey, write me 5 LinkedIn posts about B2B marketing and what might come forward in 2023 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it would spit out a few pretty solid things, probably
Yeah.
close to as good as you would do if you sat down for 45 minutes and tried to knock them out. I actually went on ChatGPT earlier, and I asked it to. I said, tell me to or get some ideas on how to use itself. How do you use ChatGPT for
Mm.
B2B marketing? And it came back with 5 answers. Use ChatGPT to generate personalized email subject lines or email bodies for lead generation campaigns. Use ChatGPT to create targeted social media posts or ad copy. Input information about your target audience. ChatGPT can generate content that resonates with them.
Mm.
Great ideas for blog posts or other content marketing pieces. You can input a topic or keyword, and I will generate ideas for blog post titles, outlines, and even do the whole post. It's
Mhm.
suggested to generate chatbot conversation scripts for customer service
Mhm.
and to generate ideas for webinars or other virtual events. So, I mean, it's even like that self awareness is kind of interesting because
Mm.
it it can even like I'm asking it about itself and it's
Yeah.
able to like go in and go, oh yeah, here's how you can use me.